Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to our next episode of SWE Adrenaline. Of course, as we found out last week, tonight we will see who they are, the big Van Vader was alluding to. Also some other really interesting, great matches for you from PJ Toby. And we're going to start things off with a little bit of tag team action as Johnny Mundo and PJ Black from Worldwide Underground, I forgot what they're called now. Worldwide, yeah, you know what I mean. Against the Von Ericks. Worldwide Underground? My mind's gone blank. And here we go. Nice bit of tag team action. I think it's the first time we've actually seen the Von Ericks on TV. So it'd be interesting if they can pull themselves out a decent result here. You never know, PJ Toby might be forcing him a little bit more of an opportunity. Worldwide Underground, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I thought it was. My mind went black. It was... I thought it was what it was, and all of a sudden my mind went, no, it's not. No, it doesn't sound right. No, I knew I had it right. So, of course, last week we did see Jack Evans in singles competition. He picked up a victory last week against Warbeard Hansen, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Warbeard Hansen. And this week, you never know, a victory here again for Worldwide International in a tag team would definitely force them a little bit higher up the rankings. And I think we already know this month at the pay-per-view, it's going to be Phoenix and Drago getting their opportunity at the tag team championships. But you never know if these guys might be able to squeeze themselves in a championship match at some point as well. Now, there might be a little bit of a change to the schedule. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing this universe mode up until 2K18. Because obviously we're going to have a new draft in 2K18, which would be pretty cool. But I sort of want to get to a point where we do have a finale pay-per-view for each brand before we get there. So I might stretch this month out a couple of extra weeks and have 6 weeks before our next pay-per-view, just so we can get that finale pay-per-view at the time. Either that, or we have a quick... Well, we could just have a quick one, couldn't we, next time? I don't know, I'm going to have to play around with the schedule and see how it all works, because we are now about 8 weeks away from the release of 2K18. It's amazing, no, we're not. We're about 6 weeks away, I think, aren't we? Where are we now? We are August the 10th. Game comes out on... No, we're about 8 weeks away then. Comes out in October, doesn't it? So we're 8 weeks away from 2K18, and yet all we have is a screenshot. One screenshot of Seth Rollins, which, don't get me wrong, looks like a bloody good screenshot of Seth Rollins, but still, we know bugger all else about the game at the moment, which is quite frustrating. But yeah, we will do that. I'm going to try and figure out my schedule, and we will have a lot of finale pay-per-views. But I think we won't do the finale pay-per-views like leading straight up to the game. We're going to do them a little bit earlier, then we can have a little bit of time doing some other stuff as well. I'm thinking... well, PJ Toby had a really good idea the other day, actually, which I think we might have a look at doing. I like his ideas. So I think that PJ Toby's idea might be what we'll do to build up to 2K18's release. Then we could do like a tournament maybe or something like that. Or I'm thinking of doing like some sort of like Champions League style tournament with all the brands to compete against each other, which I think would be pretty cool. And maybe the winner will get the first draft pick for 2K18. Who knows? We are underway then. Johnny Mundo starting things off against... I don't know which Von Ericks which, to be honest. Well, this is Kerry because it says in his boot. Oh, I love people like this. I love it when people put their name on their attire, because then I know which one's which. So Kerry Von Erich inside the ring with John Morrison, or Johnny Mundo, or John Hennigan, whichever way you want to go with his name. Currently starting to work with Global Force Wrestling. Of course, because of their working agreement with AAA. So you've got Johnny Mundo, you've got Taya Valkyrie, and you've got... who else is working? I think Drago's working for Global Force Wrestling again, isn't he? Which is interesting. I'm hoping, as much as we all take the mickey out of Global Force Wrestling, or TNA, whatever you want to call them, you sort of hope that this change and the new ownership and so forth will make it a better show, because it's disappointing. We would love for WWE to have some sort of competition, because the best time in wrestling was when WWE had competition. Without doubt, it was when WWE were facing against WCW and ECW. That was when the content was at its best. And at the moment, they've got no competition, and they're allowed to pump out terrible content week after week with no worry, and they know they're going to still get the money in because people's got no other option. So if Global Force Wrestling was to become a bit better, I'm not saying they're ever going to compete with WWE, because I think on the level WWE are actually very, very difficult. But at the same time, if there's a little bit of competition there, it would force Vince, hopefully, to put out a little bit better and stop trying to force the wrong things down our throat that we don't want to see. Lovely spinning neckbreaker there by Johnny Mundo on Kevin Von Erich, who's rocking the Matt Riddle footwear here today. Now, I don't know. See, PJ Toby's got the Freebirds and he's got the Von Erichs, and he's used them very much as jobbers. When you look at them, we should be using them better off, because they are, well, Hall of Fame tag teams. They are very, very good tag teams, and just by an assumption of 2K18 what we're going to get, I'm assuming we will get the Midnight Express, who were put in the... Was it Midnight? I always get confused in the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express. It was Rock and Roll Express, wasn't it? They got put in the Hall of Fame. So I'm pretty sure they'll be on the game this year. So again, it's another fantastic tag team that we should really look to try and utilise next year. Because I'm not a fan. I try not to have jobbers in the Universe mode. Don't get me wrong, there are people that are higher rated than others. But jobbers, in my opinion, I don't really like jobbers. I feel like everyone should be able to beat everyone. That's the way it should work. However, there are people, of course, that are better than others. But there's nobody who I would specifically put in matches solely to lose. Apart from Bo Dallas. Well, there's nobody... If I was creating my rosters and didn't have to use the people on the game, then I wouldn't use Bo... I wouldn't have a Bo Dallas or so forth. I would have people that are more... Like I said, I prefer the more PWG style of wrestling, which is what we've sort of gone along here in SWE. It's more PWG style. There's not a huge amount of storyline going on. The majority of it is all about the quality of matches. That's what we aim for whenever we can. We want to give you the best quality matches. I don't want to get stuck in storyline and so forth, because it gets a little bit tedious, doesn't it? And we do have some pretty good matches for you here this evening, though. We have got, coming up next to you, Neville taking on Apollo Crews. We've got Ember Moon taking on Paige. We have got big match later on, Shelton Benjamin versus Jason Jordan. How cool does that sound? And then, of course, our main event is going to be Kurt Angle teaming up with Kazuchika Okada to take on Vader and them, as he alluded to last week. The people that have been attacking both Okada and Angle over the past month are finally going to be involved in a match here this evening. Who are they going to be? That's the question. And will Angle and Okada be on the same page? That's another big question. Of course, for a long period of time, Okada blamed Angle for the assault. And it was only last week when Angle was targeted himself. Was it last week or the week before? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah. Yeah, it was only last week when Angle was attacked himself that Okada finally sort of believed Angle that he was not involved. And there we go, PJ Black with a pin there over Kevin Von Erich. And Worldwide Underground pick up a victory here over the Von Erichs. Pretty easy victory, actually. And that's going to give them some nice ranking points. So, of course, they got 5 ranking points last week for a victory against another tag team in a singles competition when Jack Evans got the win. We are going to treat Worldwide Underground very much like the Von Erichs. Not the Von Erichs, like the Freebirds. There's 3 members, and whichever one of the 3 members face off against someone else will be involved in the tag team, because they are very fluid. There's not a specific tag team. I would say moving forward it's probably going to be PJ Black and Jack Evans, but at the moment it'd be great if there was a trios title on this game. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it, really? Be good if they could do that on 2K18. Allow us to have a trios championship. Only if 6-man tag matches are going to work. Now, we are going to give a 6-man tag match a try next week when we have the Dead Man's Boots pay-per-view. I'm going to give it a try. It might not get uploaded. It depends if it works or not. And here we see Kurt Angle backstage. Of course, these 2 guys will be teaming up this evening to take on the team of the guys that have been attacking them for the past month alongside Big Van Vader. Does Okada finally trust Angle? It looks like he does. And here's our next match of the evening. It is going to be Neville taking on Apollo Crews. And straight away, here we are. Now, an interesting one this because both guys are desperate for victories. Neville's not doing very well in this universe mode at all at the moment. He did pick up a win last week, didn't he? No, he never. Okay. I thought he did. No, I'm wrong there. Neville didn't pick up a win last week. Apollo Crews had a fantastic match last week against the debuting AJ Styles here, though, on Adrenaline. And it's a little bit of a shame that that Apollo Crews wasn't able to get anything out of that, because he put on a fantastic performance, but it was just, of course, the resilience of AJ Styles and the ability of AJ Styles was just able to bring him through that last little bit and bring him the victory. But of course, because of, doesn't matter how well you perform in a match, if you lose, you still lose the ranking point. So Apollo Crews will be struggling here. He wants to try and get back on the winning ways. Neville really desperately needs to get in the winning ways, where he was, I don't know if he is anymore, but he was bottom of the rankings after the last pay-per-view. Which is not a position that anybody wants to be in. Especially someone like Neville, who potentially, I had images of Neville going for, if not the Cruiserweight, then the upper mid-card, if not the upper mid-card, then even the main event championship here on Adrenaline. Talking of main event championship, don't forget that Mr. Money in the Bank, Drew Galloway, still has that briefcase to cash in whenever he wants it. Do-diddle-do-do-do-do. Good old Apollo Crews. Now, Apollo Crews, like I said last week, had that match against AJ Styles, which is soon going to be uploaded onto our best matches playlist. The new playlist we've just started up. So if you guys have any suggestions for matches that you think that you remember in SWE that were top quality, then let us know and we will add them onto that best matches playlist. If I can figure out how to get them. I think I have to download my own video. I have to download my own video and then edit it. I think that's what I need to do. I have to use dodgy YouTube download on my own videos. There you go. So Neville versus Apollo Crews in the battle of the underachievers so far in this Adrenaline roster. You know what? I like this Adrenaline arena. You know, it's really grown on me. I wasn't too sure on some of these, especially when I started utilising the coloured mats as well. I know a few of you guys weren't too sure on the coloured mats, but I think it's really grown on me now. Great suplex there by Apollo Crews, just holding Neville up there, letting him think about it. Crews now just stamping on the back of the arm of Neville. And Apollo Crews in firm control of this match early on. Now, Crews is someone who, yeah, again, myself and PJ Toby are big fans of Apollo Crews. But I think we have the same problem that WWE have. He's difficult to use because he doesn't have a lot of what's the charisma or personality. He's a fantastic wrestler. And I think this whole thing with Titus O'Neil in real life seems to be pretty good for him. And that could be something we try and utilise in 2K18. But of course, at the moment, I've got Titus O'Neil and Darren Young together as a tag team. So by taking Titus O'Neil out of that, that's sort of be fine for Titus because he has Apollo Crews and he has Akira Tozawa with him. But Darren Young would be just lost on his own, I think. Really would. But then would Darren Young be in the game? I don't remember the last time I saw Darren Young on WWE TV, to be honest with you. What's he up to now? Big German suplex there by Neville. It's Neville he's trying to jump over Crews, but Crews is far too big to get the whole way across. Neville up on the middle rope as Crews up. Oh, wow, what a vicious dropkick that was. Crews back up. Just standing base with the elbow in the gut, but then Neville caught him with that knee in the face. Now Neville with the Saito suplex, but Crews rolled it through into a crossbody. Crews now stamping on the chest of Neville. Into a gut wrench suplex. So, of course, remember, everyone is going to keep their ranking points moving forward into 2K18 as well. So, it's not like either of these guys can turn around and say, look, we've not done well in Season 2. We're going to sort of take our foot off the gas and just start fresh on 2K. It doesn't work like that. You've got to take your ranking points into 2K18. So, both these guys know how difficult and imperative it is going to be for them to turn this around. But I'm sure they can do it. Might have to start giving it people... I said in the last match that I don't like having jobbers, didn't I? But I might have to, in the next few weeks, try to look at giving a few people more of a few easier matches. Just, I think once the momentum's turned, the ranking points will follow. That's the main thing. And Neville did have a difficult run of matches. He had that triple threat against Ricochet and Ospreay, and then he had a singles match against Ricochet, and it just become quite difficult for him, I think. We've actually got a match scheduled, a dark match scheduled in a couple of weeks, actually. Oh my god. Cruz has got Neville up, spins around into the sit-out powerbomb. That's his finisher maneuver. 1, 2, and Apollo Crews defeats Neville. And Neville's poor run of form just continues on. Wow. Apollo Crews, what a quick win as well, not just an easy one. Now, like I said, that win was imperative for both guys. It is Cruz who's got it now. I think Neville does have a couple of easy matches coming up in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, he's got a match. He's got 2 dark matches. Because he's so low in the rankings, we put him in dark matches. That's how bad it's got for Neville. He's facing off against Blake next week, one-on-one. Then the week after, he's actually faced off against Blake and Murphy alongside Ricochet in a tag team match. So, yeah, I think hopefully for Neville, he can turn this around in the next couple of weeks. He's got 2 pretty easy dark matches that could get him some points back, but it's Apollo Crews who comes out victorious here this evening, and he deserved that with victory. I think after the way he performed last week against AJ Styles, I think he deserves a few points, and he deserved a bit of exposure here, which is why Paige gave him this match here against Neville, and well done Apollo Crews. And next up it's time for a bit of women's action as we see Ember Moon take on Paige. And here we go, a chance for the women here to show what they can do on Adrenaline. Of course, last week we had a brand new women's champion crown as Taya Valkyrie made her debut in Adrenaline, defeating the former women's champion Nikki Cross, who blatantly said there was no competition left in Adrenaline. And she put out an open challenge, and Taya Valkyrie then made her debut. And both these women here, Ember Moon and Paige, will be looking to try and get themselves involved in the next championship match. Although I think Paige has already got a match lined up. Very much like myself, Paige, a big fan of Alexa Bliss, and she is currently penciled in for that women's championship match. But who knows? Moving forward over the next few weeks, if somebody does impress, then maybe Alexa's position in that match could be under threat. And Ember Moon here has got to eventually win the Women's Championship in NXT, surely. I know she's got a match coming up in SummerSlam. Is that this weekend or next weekend? I don't know. It's coming up pretty soon, that SummerSlam weekend match. And Ember taking on Paige. Paige, who this week, or last week should I say, announced that she is going to be returning to WWE. She's been out for a while now, had a surgery done last October. Obviously her life has gone to pot because she was too young for all this, wasn't she, really? She was too young and too immature, in my opinion. And all she's got to do is speak to Brian Kendrick, who had the exact same problem himself, and he admits he had the same problem. Brian Kendrick was so happy to get this opportunity to return to WWE. And if you saw the Cruiserweight Classic, he said on several occasions that when he was originally with WWE, he was too young, he was too petulant, he was too he was too high and mighty to sort of understand the opportunity he had been given, and he didn't really take full advantage of it. And ever since he left WWE, he'd spent every single day working hard to try and get back there. And for me, that's what Paige needs to understand. She needs to look at what Brian Kendrick has been through and say, look, I understand the sort of fantastic chances I've been given here. I've been given a chance in WWE very, very early in my career, and I need to make sure that I take full advantage of that. And I hope she does, because at the moment I think she needs to get away from Alberto Del Rio, I think, as soon as possible, because I don't think they're good for each other. I don't know who's worse for who. We all assumed Del Rio was the bad one, but seeing some of the reports that have come out recently, it seems like it could be the other way around. But I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I think for both parties involved, it might be best off if they did split, go their separate ways. But you can't tell me what to do, can you? People have their own prerogatives. Obviously, Paige's family is not happy with Del Rio. They believe some stuff about him, about abuse and so forth, this, that, and the other. And it's just a bad situation for everyone involved, really. So I think she needs to get away from that, because it's difficult. I don't think anybody working with TNA should have a relationship. Saying that, I saw the other day, was it Chelsea Green, or if you watch Impact or Global Force, whatever it is now, she's playing the Laurel Van Ness character. She's currently in a relationship with Zack Ryder, so it happens, but I think theirs is a little bit more low key, isn't it? They've not had fights in airports or anything, have they? But I think the problem is with Paige now is I think that because she's done what she's done and she's had her issues, I think she's sort of been left in the dust now of the new generation of women's wrestlers. We all said when Paige got promoted up from NXT, we're like, fantastic. AJ Lee now finally has some quality female competitors, and then Paige went away with her injuries and so forth, and she's just been completely overtaken now by Sasha and especially Alexa Bliss. Charlotte, Becky Lynch are fantastic. Bayley's struggling here and there. Her character doesn't really get over too well on the main roster, and it's it's just a tricky one. I feel like if she is going to come back into it, she's got a lot of hard work to do to catch up with the quality that they currently have now on Raw. I mean, you even look at the likes of Dana Brooke and Emma, and you see how well those two women have progressed. And then you look down to NXT, and you've got the likes of Asuka, Ember Moon, Nikki Cross. You've got the new ones, of course, Kairi Hoyo, Io Shirai, who I believe might not be going to WWE now. She might have had her contract rescinded. I think Tony Wilson messaged me that the other day, saying that she'd had her contract rescinded due to injury problems. But then you've also got the likes of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, who aren't outstanding in-ring competitors, but they're great characters. And the women's division is going to be pretty difficult to get into over the next few years, I reckon. And that's just touching. That's just the tip of the iceberg, really. You look at the likes of Kimberly Frankel, Nixon Newell, and several others as well. And you look at the Four Horse Ladies as well. Four Horse Ladies, the Four Horsewomen of UFC as well, that look like they could be on their way. You never know. Oh, Ember Moon with just a 2 count there. Paige, who barely had anything in it to kick out. Not much in that at all. As Ember now up into the middle rope, stalking Paige. Are we going to see it? There it is, the similar move. I'm sure once we get her on 2K18, she'll have a correct finisher maneuver. But there's the... No, it's not the free count. Referee, come on! Do your job. That should have been a free count, surely. Ember now working on the armbar. Paige kicking Ember Moon away. And Paige now, looking for a rampage. There it is. There's the rampage and the pin. Paige out of nowhere. 1, 2. Oh no, it's only a 2 count. Paige got that one. That was Paige's turn, wasn't it? This is a rampage. I like this move. I really like that. It's like a fisherman's DDT. It's a great move. And there's the pin. And I think Paige might have turned this one around, you know. 2. And she has. Paige gets the victory. She grabs victory from the jaws of defeat there, really, didn't she? And that's a great win. And although Paige in real life might be having a difficult time in wrestling at the moment, in SWE, she picks up a great victory here. And you never know, this could force her back into that championship picture. She has had opportunities in the past, and it's not quite been enough for her. And of course in 2K18 I see a lot more competition coming. A lot more competition. I'm going to assume in 2K18 we're going to see a lot more women's wrestlers added to the roster. Not just the likes of Mickie James. I would imagine we're going to get Beth Phoenix as well, part of the Hall of Fame. I would say that Jacqueline and Ivory will stay in the game with Lita and Trish as well. And then maybe the introduction of a lot more of the NXT ladies. Like I said, we've got Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Ember Moon. That's 4 women off the bat straight away who I think should be involved in next year's game. But there could be even more. Depends how in-depth the 2K18 roster is going to be. Hopefully it's going to be great. So a great win here for Paige. A little bit of a surprise. Like I said, I thought Ember was dominating the match at one point, and I thought it was just a matter of time before she got the freak out. But Paige showed fantastic resilience to turn this one around and hit a page turner and rampage to take the 5 ranking points and potentially force her way into that championship picture. Who knows? Only time will tell on the SWE future of Paige. Is she even going to be on 2K18? I would imagine she will be. See, the referee is backstage here looking for Kurt Angle. We understand he doesn't seem to be ready for the match. Not quite understanding why. Oh, this could be a reason why. Big Van Vader. He's left Angle in a heap in the locker room on his own. Referee turning to Angle. Is it going to be okay to be in the main event tonight? And here is our next match. Then it is going to be Shelton Benjamin taking on Jason Jordan one-on-one. And here we go. Now this one has all the makings to go on to our best matches, doesn't it really? Shelton Benjamin versus Jason Jordan. 2 fantastically gifted wrestlers. And of course we saw great stuff from Shelton Benjamin when he was on his own in WWE. He had a great run on his own, didn't he? With the likes of... did he ever feud against Ric Flair for the Intercontinental Championship, if I remember correctly? Or something along them sort of lines. Money in the Bank. Some of Shelton Benjamin's Money in the Bank moments are remembered across the world, really, aren't they? Absolutely fantastic. Now, Shelton is still very much linked with a return to WWE, I believe, very soon, because, of course, he was linked end of last year with a return to WWE. But it was changed last minute due to Shelton having a bicep injury. A slight tear in his bicep. So he's had the surgery done and everything like that, and now he is ready to step up to... WWE, I believe he's fully injury-free now. And who knows, not much waiting for a right time to bring him in. And what better time than the present, really, I suppose. There's a lot of good people he could wrestle against. I don't know how well he's aged. I've not seen him wrestle in a long time. I know he was part of the Suzuki Gun stable, wasn't he, in New Japan for a while. So working quite a lot in Pro Wrestling Noah, because they were loaned out to Noah for a year, weren't they? So doing pretty well over there, and I wonder what sort of effect he would have back in the WWE, what his ring style has changed to, whether he's still very much the same, whether he's still got some great agility and high-flying aspects to his moveset. Only time will tell, I suppose. And of course, as you can see, American Alpha on the way out. No Kurt Angle or Jack Swagger here, just Chad Gable joining Jason Jordan. I don't know what to read into that, but there you go. So Shelton Benjamin versus Jason Jordan. And is it just me, or does Shelton Benjamin look more like Shelton Benjamin than Jason Jordan looks like Jason Jordan, if that makes any sense? Yet Shelton Benjamin is the core. I'm still wondering who they're going to put on the game. 2K18. I'm assuming they're bringing back the showcase mode. Is that one of the things they've announced already? I can't remember off the top of my head. I've seen that many websites now. Half of them real, half of them fake. I've not got a clue what was real and what was not anymore. But the fact that if you buy the Special Cena edition, you do get a couple of arenas and you get the Rob Van Dam and Batista on the game, then I would assume that there is going to be some sort of John Cena showcase on the go. Which would mean we get a lot of people from John Cena's past. I can't remember a lot of the people that were in John Cena's past. Now, it would be interesting if CM Punk was on the game, but I don't know if WWE would do that. But obviously, CM Punk versus John Cena is a massive, massive night. A massive match that was. That Money in the Bank a few years ago. But was it more... I think it was bigger in CM Punk's career than it ever was John Cena's, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's an iffy one, isn't it? I just want to see what happens. I just want to see the bloody roster. Just anything. Just give me something. Give me something to work with. Give me something to plan for. Let me know what the match, how the match editor works. Let us know how many core slots we're going to get. Let us know who's on the roster. How the match editor works. Did I just say that? I did say that, didn't I? That's really really big with me, that match editor. The match editor is going to allow us so much more freedom to create new match types. And it'd be interesting to see what sort of match we can do. If we can do, like I say, what I want to do is I really want to do a Aztec Warfare match, which is essentially a 30-man Royal Rumble, but the only way to eliminate is by pinfall or submission, instead of course, the over the top rope. So that'd be cool to see. We can bring back first blood matches. We can maybe bring in, I don't know what sort of match would be. Best 2 out of 3 falls is a big one I like. 3 stages of hell was always quite fun. Maybe best 2 out of 3 tables is an interesting one for Carnage, because we saw that before, didn't we? And the likes of ECW used to have best 2 out of 3 tables matches. We're going to have an exploding landmine death match. I doubt that's going to be on the game. Barbed wire ropes. I doubt that'll be on the game as well. There's a lot of different things that I'd love to have. As this match still continues on. Jason Jordan there with a front chance. We have a Shelton, Benjamin. And of course this is worth tag team ranking points as well as single points as well. The winner of this will get 5 points in the singles rankings, but also the winning team will get 5 points as well because it is a singles match. So it's a pretty big one for both these teams. Alpha's had an opportunity in the past at the championships and not done fantastically well. Of course, the belt's still being held by DIY in this universe mode. And DIY have held the tag team championship since day number 1. Have they? Yes. Yeah, they defeated the Briscoe brothers at the past pay-per-view, didn't they? They've beaten American Alpha. They've beaten War Machine as well. So they have been a very effective tag team so far in this universe mode, DIY. And another 2 guys that I would be 100% surprised if they weren't on WWE 2K18. DIY have got to be on there. And just look how well our tag team division is going to improve as well with Sanity, DIY, and with Authors of Pain as well. That'd be pretty cool. We're really going to be able to improve our WWE. And Epico and Primo as a proper tag team, rather than Los Matadores, which was just disappointing. There is the complete shot there by Shelton Benjamin, the pin over Jason Jordan. This could be all 1, 2, and it is. Shelton Benjamin picks up the victory over Jason Jordan. Now, if you did enjoy this, then in a couple of weeks' time, we are going to have the other half of this match. We're going to see Chad Gable taking on Charlie Haas. That's a couple of weeks' time. Chad Gable's on TV next week as well. Chad Gable's taking on Hideo Itami next week, which is an interesting match as well. But there was a complete shot by Shelton Benjamin, and enough for the 3 count. And little Jason Angle, unfortunately, is losing this match. And that's going to help push World's Greatest Tag Team forward a little bit. They got a loss last week on their debut in a tag team action. So Shelton definitely needed this victory to try and turn the World's Greatest Tag Team's fortune around. And Chad Gable and Charlie Haas will collide again in a couple of weeks' time to finish off this little feud. Well, I say finish off. I'm sure there'll be a tag team match coming pretty soon, won't there? And here we go then into our main event of the evening. Now, as you just saw, Kurt Angle has been assaulted backstage by Vader, we're assuming, and unfortunately it looks like Kurt Angle is not going to be able to compete here this evening. So Kazuchika Okada, unfortunately for him, is going to have to take on all 3 of these men on his own. So we know it's Vader, and we know it's the guys that have been assaulting both Okada and Angle over the past month from behind. Vader, I don't know how Vader has been involved in this. He's been quite a strong force. Of course, we saw him last week demolishing Kurt Angle. No, we never. Yes, we did. We saw him last week demolishing Kurt Angle And we saw a masked man attacking Kazuchika Okada a few weeks back. Sorry, I went quiet there. I was reading my piece of paper to see what we'd done last week. And yeah, it's been a very much up and down situation for them all. But here we go then. Let's see who these guys are. The music kicks in. And there is Vader flanked by the two masked men. The man on the left there, I think that was the guy who assaulted Okada a few weeks back. He was one with the white trim around the mask. The other one with the black and the red trim around the mask. Not seen him before. I remember this is a 3-on-1 handicap match here this evening. What can Okada do against these three men? It's going to be very difficult because Okada versus Vader is going to be difficult enough, but without these other two men at ringside, it's going to be very, very tricky. I don't know if Okada can overcome these odds. I really don't. And without Kurt Angle there to assist at ringside, it's going to be incredibly difficult. And there you see the dragon head on the back of the man with the white trim there. And we know nothing about these two guys. I'm sure we'll get some sort of indication now. When we see them in the ring, we might be able to get some sort of idea of roughly who they could be. I don't honestly know. It's tricky. They almost got a little bit of an up-mask shot there. We could have maybe seen who it was, but it didn't really work out that way. So it's going to be Okada starting things off against Vader. The two masked men are going to be outside the ring for now. And they're still staying masked. I thought we might find out who these guys are going to be here this evening. Doesn't look like we are. It looks like the secrecy is going to continue on as Vader now just assaulted Okada. You hear the boos from the crowd. Oh, big overhand clothesline there by Vader. Just demolishing Okada. I'm not sure if these guys' paths ever crossed. I don't think they would have. No, they wouldn't have done, would they? Okada's still quite young, isn't he? And of course, Vader spent a lot of time in Japan, working New Japan in the 90s and so forth. So I'm sure Okada didn't debut till mid-2000s, I think. Very, very young. And we are going to get to see here the guy with the red trim on the mask as he enters the ring. And Vader still taking a couple of cheap shots now, and spinning heel kick there by the guy with the red trim on the mask. Bringing Okada back up into a Hurricanrana. And there's a Quesadora as well. We can see this guy here, just by watching his first little interactions in the ring, is quite a high flyer. But also has good use of submissions as well, as he pins back that arm. But Okada manages to break free. Both guys back up to their feet, and Okada catching this masked man. Now dropping him right on his back. He tried to pull the mask off there for a second, but guy manages to slightly get away as Okada just slamming the knee of this masked man into the mat. And obviously seeing this masked man, and it's very difficult as well, because when you don't know who you're facing off against, you can't really prepare. And even if you've not prepared fully, if you know who the person is, chances are you would have heard them, you would have seen the match before, you can understand roughly what it is they like to do in the ring. But Okada hasn't been afforded that sort of ability here. You could just about see at the mask there for a second. I can't see what it is really. Okada going for the elbow drop, but the masked man rolls out of the way. Clubbing blow by Okada in the back, and another drop kick, sending this masked man right across the rope there, and Okada dropping his weight against the back of this masked man against the ropes, and that's going to be a big move here for him. And Okada needs to pay attention. He's got 3 men to face off against here. He needs to pay attention to them all. He can't be taunting the crowd, and that's where he's felted here. As this masked man now went for the butterfly something, or it might be the powerbomb or suplex, but Okada managed to break free. Okada with a drop kick to the back. Okada now stamping on this masked man, dropping an elbow right into the spine as well. Brings him back up to his feet and... oh, Okada. Tombstone power driver on this masked man. Okada hitting him big here, straight off the bat. Oh, there we go. The trip by the masked man. Showing incredible resilience after that big tombstone power driver. Now sending Okada into the corner. What's he going for here? Diving seated senton, ducks the clothesline into a springboard crossbody. And now a wheelbarrow bulldog by this masked man. Takes him up. Running sit-out powerbomb. 1, 2. Oh, I need a 2 count. Okada kicking out. As the masked man incredibly happy with the work that he has done here. And this masked man's not letting anyone else in the ring here. I thought he might have tagged out there after doing the damage that he had done, but doesn't look like it. Okada catching the leg of this masked man, tripping him. And now looking to lock in an STF. Pretty loose version of the STF though, I must admit. Not the best version I've seen in my life. But it's still doing the damage, but no. This masked man here able to break free, elbow to the face of Okada, and surely he's going to need to make a tag at some point. Oh, tornado head scissors taking Okada down. This masked man now, big boot in the gut of Okada. I just wonder who it could be in underneath this mask. I'm just trying to figure it out from the moveset, but it's quite difficult. I know that the running set-out powerbomb is a maneuver used in the past by Jushin Liger. Is that possible? But there's the pin after the Rainmaker clothesline. Oh, it's only enough for a 2 count, and Vader and the other masked man there were not able to get there in time. I think that if it wasn't for the kick out, I think Okada could have had that one there. Elbow right to the inside of the knee by Okada on this masked man, who needs to make a tag now after getting caught by that Rainmaker clothesline. He needs to make the tag. He needs to get out the ring as Okada continues the assault now. Okada taking this masked man up to the top. Boot in the gut. Oh, big 450 senton. Both guys down now. It took a lot out of that masked man, I think. That big maneuver. He needs to crawl over and make a tag in. The guy with the white trim mask has not had any action so far. He's got to be completely fresh in this match. But Okada stands in his way. Okada uses some great tag team knowledge. And he does have that great tag team knowledge, of course. He does team quite a lot in New Japan. New Japan does do a lot of multi-man matches. And you have the likes of... what are they called? What's that tag? What's the Chaos? That was it. The stable is in. As Okada now, another tombstone power driver on this masked man, who's taking a lot of damage here now. But of course, the numbers game is what's going to affect Okada here. That's the problem. Okada, big overhand. Right in the back of the head of this masked man, who's slowly getting back up to his feet. But again, Okada stalking. Rainmaker clothesline by Okada on this masked man. There's the pin. 1, 2, and Vader is there to break it up. Vader just staring down Okada. Why did Vader knock him off there? I have no idea why Vader did not knock him off the apron there. Okada now in full control of this match, but he just can't get the result he needs. But there we go. The masked man catching Okada, running sit-out powerbomb once again. There's the pin. 1, 2, only a 2 count. He needs to make a tag now, though. He needs to make a tag. He's taking a lot of damage. But he still doesn't go for the tag. Why are you not tagging, my friend? You're struggling here. You've been caught with 2 Rainmaker clotheslines and 2 Tombstone bar drivers. There's the big powerbomb. 1, 2, and again, oh no, rolls him through into the Boston Crab. Is Okada going to submit here to this masked man? No, he breaks free. It looks like finally he's going to tag. Nope, he's not. Why is he not tagging? Why is this guy not tagging at all? 1, 2. This guy obviously thinks he's the God's gift, doesn't he? And now he does bring in Big Van Vader. And still the guy with the white trim on the mask, the guy who originally attacked Okada a few weeks back, has not been able to get himself in the ring. Maybe he's avoiding Okada. Maybe he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to suffer the retribution that Okada might just give him if he gets his hands on him. Vader now sending Okada into the corner for a second time. Now Vader hoists Okada up and drops him face first, and Okada's been busted open now by that. Vader full Nelson slam on Okada. There's the pin, and surely now 1, 2. How much more can Okada give here? I know he doesn't want to give up, but it's 3-on-1. The numbers are against him. He's bleeding. He's taken some heavy impact moves from Big Van Vader. It's only going to be wise soon for Okada to give up here because he needs to think about his future. Okada now hooked in the tree of woe as Vader just forcing his foot right into the face of Okada, the Rainmaker. Vader, ooh, gets caught in the face there by Okada. Vader now big, away for the German suplex, but Okada manages to roll it through. And Okada's still doing well here, but I just don't feel like he's ever going to get a chance to win this one. I think the numbers game is just always going to be against him. If he does pull this off, it'll be a fantastic victory. Missile dropkick there to the seated Big Van Vader by Okada. Okada now stalking Vader. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okada just hit a Vader bomb on Vader. There's the pin. 1, 2. Oh, and Vader kicked out of his own maneuver. Both masked men did not enter the ring there, though. Springboard frog splash to the back there by Okada on Vader. And what is it to keep Okada down? I think these guys are realising just the what Okada has to offer here as Vader, though. Boom. There's the big springboard splash by Vader. Why is he not going for the pin? Why did Vader not go for the pin there? That seems crazy. As these masked men here just interacting with the crowd, and now Vader, I think, is looking to give a little bit of retribution here to Okada, saying, "This, my friend, is how it's done." There's the Vader bomb into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Vader and the masked cronies have won this one against Okada. It was always going to be difficult for Okada to win this one. The numbers game was always against him. He came close on several occasions, but like I said, the numbers just always against him, and they was always able to have that extra man there to break it up. Running sit-out powerbomb there by that masked man. The only man not to enter the ring was the guy with the white trim around the mask. He was the one who originally did assault Okada a few weeks back. It was the guy with the red trim on the mask who seems to do a lot more of the damage here this evening. And then Vader was able to come in and to add insult to injury with a final couple of maneuvers. And as you can see, these guys very, very happy with themselves. And I don't know why they're so happy with themselves. They've just defeated a man 3-on-1. It's not exactly like they've just gone and won the Olympic gold medal, is it? But there we go. They have come, they have seen, and they have conquered. Just as Vader said they would. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode of SWE Adrenaline. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then do slap a like. And, of course, if you're new around here, then be sure to subscribe as well. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for some more SWE. It's Carnage next on Saturday. Bye. Bye.